Well, actually a lot longer, because I started with my father, who was a very keen amateur. He was an English teacher, but he was a very keen amateur photographer. So I started when I was 8 years old with him, processing, printing and processing. I like both. I still like to see old prints of people's families, things like that. I was looking through my lady friends' family pictures the other day, and it was really nice to see them. And there's also a feel to the paper that you don't get when you're looking on a screen. You know, they're real and it's there. It's like having CDs as opposed to streaming. So, you know, always try and process an old film if you've got one, because you never know, there might be some amazing stuff on it. You just don't know. If people work just digitally, you don't actually learn about how the photographic process works. People don't learn about how shutter speeds and apertures and how they're linked and all that. Whereas working with film, you have to know these things. You have to know how a light meter works and all the rest. Shooting digitally, if you do it wrong, you can just see straight away and make an adjustment. Whereas, you know, until you've processed your film like we did earlier today, you don't really know whether it's quite right or not until you see the film, actually see it. People throw old photographs away by the hundreds, don't they? And I just think that's always a crime, because it's history, isn't it? But they think they're not important, but you know, they are, aren't they? It's history. So yeah, but the magical thing to me about the film is, when you take an exposure, before the film is processed, that can't be seen or chemically traced until it's been processed, and the developer is the amplifier. But it's called a latent image. And that's quite fascinating, because the scientists couldn't detect it. The only way you can actually detect it is by developing it, amplifying the silver halides that have been exposed to light. You have to amplify them using the developer. And until you've done that, nobody could tell whether there's anything on it or not. So that's called the latent image, and I think it's quite fascinating. But there you are, I'm a bit of an anorak. But there we are.